Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking into the world of twin flames, specifically focusing on the runner and chaser roles and how they play out. In this video, we'll cover the hidden forces that affect twin flames and look at ways to stop the negative patterns and obsessive thoughts that cause pain. By the end, you should have a clear understanding of what twin flames go through, the energies that separate them, and how you, if you're part of a twin flame pair, can reverse these energies. This video goes pretty deep, but we believe that these insights can help you deal with a lot of the intense feelings that come with the twin flame journey. We'll cover some basics at the start of the video just to get everyone on the same page, especially if you're new to the whole concept of twin flames. Feel free to skip around to the parts you're most interested in using the chapter marks. Also, check out our Twin Flame Insights playlist for a more rounded picture and introduction to everything that's happening with twin flames and how to navigate it all. First off, let's quickly cover what twin flames are. While people have different ideas about them, they're generally considered to be two people from the same soul or who share the same inner being or soul frequency. It's one soul living in two bodies. So, one big question that often comes up, does everyone have a twin flame? Yes and no. We all have a twin flame because it's how our soul shows up in the physical world. But not everyone will meet or connect with their twin flame in this lifetime. It depends on what our soul's mission is for this life. Alright. Let's look at some of the more specific terms we're going to use. Just so you know, we're not saying we have all the answers and everyone has their own unique journey. We're discussing things like love and spirituality, things that are felt more than seen. We try to use language that everyone can understand, but it's important to keep an open mind, do some of your own research, and most importantly, trust your own intuition and experiences. First, divine feminine and masculine. These labels are about the energies at play, not physical gender. The divine feminine, also known as the chaser, is the twin flame with the energy of wanting the divine masculine back in their life. The divine feminine is typically the one who is driven to understand and mend the connection during separation. The divine masculine is the energy that's driven to create distance or pull away from the connection. Again, it's not based on physical gender. The divine masculine could be a man or woman, but right now, it's typically the male. What we mean by soul. This is the core of you, a unique extension of source energy that hangs out in the spiritual or non-physical world. It's also known as your inner being or spirit, the real you. What we mean when we say mind, this is your energetic field, where the spiritual meets the physical world. It includes everything from imagination, thoughts, and feelings to intuition, energy, vibes, chakras, and everything metaphysical, sometimes called the astral body. And what we mean by the ego. The ego is like your persona, born from your mind and connected to your physical body. It's the role you take on as you go about life. What we mean by fear and love. Fear is the energy of division, separation, and fragmentation. It's the energy that feels constricting, tightening, creating a need to control, exert effort, run, bite, or manipulate. This typically feels quite heavy. It's often uncomfortable, manifesting as a sense of unease in the gut and unstable emotions. Love, on the other hand, is the energy of unity and liberty. It's expansive, peaceful, light, confident, calm, forgiving, and loving. It generally feels stable and quite good, manifesting as a sense of inner peace and joy. You'll also hear us say fearful love. Here's what we mean. It's a form of fear trying to pretend it's love. It tries to look like love but behaves and feels like fear. What about true fear? This is fear in its purest form. It looks, behaves, and feels like fear. And true love? This is pure love. It's love that looks, behaves, and feels like love. We also draw many of our insights and knowledge from some of the great thinkers and teachers out in the world today and some from the past. Names such as Dolores Cannon, Neil Donald Walsh, Abraham Hicks, Sadhguru, Eckhart Tolle, and others like Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer, among many others, have some amazing insights that we think you'll find helpful. Lastly, before we get started, let's take a quick second to set the stage for this discussion. We're about to go into some pretty deep stuff about twin flames, and while we're really passionate about sharing these insights, it's good to remember that this path is deeply personal and looks different for each of us. It's also important for us to realize that the whole twin flame journey is something else entirely. It's not your typical relationship. When we talk about runner and chaser with twin flames, it's not about someone being right or wrong or rejecting the other. It's all about getting to grips with how energy moves and flows between two parts of the same soul. The mix-ups and tough times we hit on this path are not signs that we've messed up. They're just part of the intense spiritual process. They shake up our usual way of seeing relationships and personal realization. Also, when it comes to twin flames, It's very important for us to get directly to the root of things because of how intense and confusing it is. Society doesn't yet offer any help. While there is a lot of information about love, psychology, and even metaphysical solutions to romantic situations, they just don't work here and lead to significant pain, confusion, and extended suffering. Again, please keep in mind that this is not advice for personal relationships. Remember, your twin flame isn't another person. It's about energy flow. They are not rejecting you personally. Their actions are a direct reflection of the energy in your shared energetic field. They have no control because they are not a separate person. Okay, now that we're all on the same page, let's tackle the main question. We're trying to understand what the twin flame runner experiences during separation, especially during the dark night of the soul when the chaser can't stop thinking about them. First, when we're talking about twin flames, it's important to remember that we're not talking about two separate people. They might seem like separate beings, each with their own life story, but on the inside, they're actually the same person, in two different bodies. Now, this might not make sense, especially if you're thinking strictly in physical terms, but it's the key to truly understanding what's actually going on here. Remember, you are not your body or your ego. The real you is your soul. Twin flames are the same soul in two bodies. So, when we ask what the runner feels, it's kind of missing the point because the so-called runner and chaser are not separate beings. They are one soul playing both roles. So, they are both feeling the same thing. The key word here is feeling, and this feeling is about energy. But here's the kicker, while they're feeling the same energy, the way that they react to this energy will be an exact mirror reflection. This means that while both individuals in a twin flame relationship feel the same intense emotions, their reactions are exact opposites. The chaser wants to fix the connection to ease their pain, while the runner wants to create distance to ease theirs. It's an equal intensity of emotion, but with two exactly opposite solutions, a perfect reflection of the universal law of equal opposites. This is what twin flames are, the two polarities of the same soul frequency. So, does the runner care as much as the chaser? The answer is both yes and no. At first glance, it might look like the runner cares less or doesn't care because they're trying to distance themselves, but this is not the case. Actually, both twin flames care just as much about the connection as the other does. The real thing to figure out is what it actually means to care, and we'll get back to that later, but first, let's get a better handle on the whole concept of chasing. In life, we often think that there are two ways to chase something. Chasing after it, which we see as a good thing because we're going after what we want, and chasing it away, which we see as a bad thing because we're pushing it away. But that's not quite right. Now, from the chaser's perspective in a twin flame relationship, they might feel like they're pursuing their twin flame, which seems like love. But that's not real love or genuine care. It's fearful love. It's not about getting closer to the other person, but about trying to control the connection out of fear. This fearful kind of love is forceful and restrictive. It's not welcoming or peaceful. The runner, on the other hand, feels this fearful energy and reacts by pulling away. And they feel it on an energetic level. So even though the chaser's intentions might seem loving because they're trying to rebuild the connection, the underlying energy isn't loving at all. And the runner, because of their shared mind or energetic field, picks up on this. But despite this push-pull dynamic, the deep love and connection between the two can't be denied. They are both naturally attracted to each other, and because of their shared soul connection, there's always a current of love and care, and the magnetic intensity never stops. However, when the energy field is filled with fear energy, there's always a back-and-forth dynamic. This back and forth is why the answer to whether the runner cares is both yes and no. Yes, they care deeply, but the energy forces the runner to act like they don't. The connection between twin flames is at the soul level, and it's based on truth, not just what you see on the surface. It follows the higher laws of the universe. In reality, there are only two types of energy, one that pushes away fear and one that invites in love. These reflect the energy of separation and unity. You can identify these energies not by how they appear on the outside, but by how they feel inside you. Fearful energy forcefully grabs or runs away, while love allows freedom and calmly accepts what it gets. Twin flames share the same energy field and are connected at the level of ultimate truth, and their connection is a perfect energy match. This means that the runner actually gets the real picture of what the chaser is up to. They see that they're not really being invited in, but instead, they're being chased away. Before we go any further, a quick reminder. If you're enjoying the video, remember to hit thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps us out. And a big thanks to everyone who's been interacting and sharing their thoughts. You're the best. Alright, now let's break down how fear and love play out in a twin flame relationship. So, People often ask if the runner also misses the relationship, and the answer's yes. Remember, they were also there for the bubble love phase, which was a beautiful and effortless relationship, and they remember it. But does this mean they want to reconnect? The answer is a bit complex. On a deeper level, they are already connected since they share the same soul. There is no need to reconnect. But on a mental level, they are conflicted due to the fear or separation energy in their shared energy field, which drives them away from the connection. The twin flame runner-chaser dynamic is a struggle between two egos that emerge from the same mind or energy field. It's like an entity having a tug-of-war with itself. It's trying to take charge of itself, yet at the same time, it's scared of its own domination. It wants to have tight control over itself, but also wants to break free from its own control. The mind is acting out this struggle through two twin flames, and neither twin flame really understands the bigger picture or that they're actually the same person at a deeper soul level. On top of all that, these twin flame characters live in a society that values individuality and physical things more than other aspects of reality that obviously exist and form the basis of all physical things. Ideas like spiritual unity, world peace, and love are often brushed off as high-minded ideals, or, at worst, seen as strange and unrealistic. The twin flame running and chasing is like the ultimate display of fear, with the same soul seeing itself from both perspectives of running and chasing. Both the runner and the chaser are trying to take control, but efforts centered around the ego are usually narrow-minded and lead to negative outcomes. Egos like to gain advantages over others by limiting or taking from them. The chaser, for example, wants to control the relationship by trying to hold on to the runner. On the other side, the runner feels they're losing control and tries to get it back by distancing themselves or by trying to control how much the chaser knows about them. Again, no one truly wants to be away from someone they love, which is why this distance is also intolerable for the runner, and why they keep coming back only to run off again. Basically, neither the runner nor the chaser really understands how the whole system works, and this is why they keep fumbling around and hurting each other. And with that said, let's talk about the path to true connection. So, what's really going on between the runner and the chaser in a twin flame relationship? Basically, the chaser is trying to catch their own energy, while the runner is trying to escape from their own energy. This is a never-ending cycle because they share the same energy field or mind. They both experience the same intensity of energy, which just grows as they both resist it, fueling the cycle that keeps going round and round. This cycle will keep going until one of them realizes at a deep soul level that they can't lose or escape the twin flame connection. This connection can't be lost or won. It's a fundamental part of how soul energy manifests in the physical world. There's nothing that needs to be done to achieve it and nothing that can be done to break it. Twin flames are already in union. At the soul level, this is already understood, but the ego cannot understand this. However, the mind can understand, and it can understand this only by shifting its perspective from thinking about things from the ego's viewpoint to thinking about things from the soul's viewpoint. This is what we call spiritual awakening or enlightenment. If there's still a runner-chaser dynamic between the twin flames, it means that this truth hasn't yet been fully accepted by the mind. To move from the fear-based energy of the ego to the love-based energy of the soul, the change has to be real and genuine without any half-hearted attempts. Sure, in everyday life, people might take shortcuts, play games, or try to trick their way to success. But when it comes to spiritual awakening, the deeper reality, those tricks don't work. Your soul can spot a fake from a mile away. So, the shift to love has to be genuine. And the chaser or divine feminine holds the key to this shift. Now, it is quite tricky, but if you know what you're looking out for, it's pretty straightforward. It might be a bit complex, but here's the gist. The divine feminine, even though appearing to act out of love, is actually operating from a place of fear disguised as love. This is the crucial detail. On the flip side, the runner twin flame is stuck in fear, always trying to distance themselves. The reason why the disguised fear or fearful love of the divine feminine is key to transformation is that it's easier to transition from this fearful love to true love than it is to transition from pure fear to true love. Even though the fearful love is a distorted form of love, it still contains traces of love. But remember, this light is not true love, and it can mislead you if you're not in tune with your intuition. Again, the chaser's role, with their fearful sense of love, is essential to this transformation because changing from a fear-based form of love to real love is easier than changing from absolute fear to love. For even in the false light, there's a hint of brightness. But this transition must be undertaken with care, honesty, authenticity, and sensitivity to your inner guidance. Remember, even though there are two bodies, there's only one soul between them. The divine feminine, or the chaser, is the one who guides the energy between them. Whatever energy the divine feminine puts out, the divine masculine will mirror back. Again, it's important to remember that the divine masculine is not a separate being. The divine feminine is often in a very confusing position. You see, they're really eager to fix the relationship, but their motivation comes from fear, not love. That's a tough and confusing situation to be in, but it is the key to this whole thing. You see, despite this confusion, the chaser is actually more aware of the situation because they're leaning in to the connection. Their type of fear is closer to what real love is compared to the type of fear the runner experiences, where they are leaning out of the connection. Because of this, they have the ability to change the whole dynamic between them and the runner from fear to love. But this only works if the chaser's change is genuine and comes from the heart. Since they're connected by a shared energy field, if the chaser genuinely shifts to love, the runner will reflect that love too. So, going back to the question, does the runner ever think about the chaser? The short answer is yes. Both twin flames constantly think about each other, but their perception of their connection changes based on the energy. When the energy is positive, their thoughts are positive, and when the energy is negative, their thoughts reflect the negativity. True positive energy or love comes from being at peace, not from constantly chasing pleasure. When you're at peace, you stop trying to control everything. But when you're chasing after pleasure, you always want more. This is the way of fearful love and ego-based fear energy. Positivity isn't about constantly thinking about the things that make you feel good about them. It's about finding calmness with them and the twin flame situation first, and moving forward from there. This is the way of love-based soul energy. When there's a whole lot of fear in the energy field, the runner tries to get away from anything to do with the twin flame connection. The chaser, not realizing the chaos they're causing, thinks they're coming from a place of love. But it's actually the fearful love, a type of fear that's all wrapped up in pleasure-seeking, status symbols, and the desire to own and control. Once the chaser eases off and stops pushing so hard, the energy clears up, and the runner, or the divine masculine, shifts to seeing things more clearly as well, from a soul-level perspective. Then both twin flames start having peaceful and loving thoughts about the whole connection. The divine masculine doesn't see the divine feminine as a chaser anymore. Now, let's take a closer look at the path to physical union and ending the chase. The runner, because of the overpowering fear energy that drives them away from the connection, finds it impossible to change their situation. They're forced into a state of ignorance or true fear, which pushes them away from understanding or accepting anything to do with the connection. On the other hand, the chaser is driven towards the connection by the fear of losing it and tries hard to get control and make sense of the situation. They're extremely interested and are forced by the overwhelming energy into learning more about twin flames and have an overwhelming desire to gather more information. Information is then given to them by their soul through signs and synchronicities. This intense drive is crucial for the significant spiritual shift they have to make, and their ability to accept and understand such complex, higher dimensional understanding, especially when there isn't much knowledge or support about twin flames and this kind of spiritual awakening. Ultimately, the negative intensity leads to the ability to accept the truth. If it wasn't there, there wouldn't be enough power to break through and change their energy field. This change in the energy field is beneficial for both of them because they are the same soul. Interestingly, and this is something you have to be really careful about, the more the chaser learns about twin flames, which is needed for their energy shift, the more they risk falling into the fearful love energy because of it. While this knowledge provides much-needed clarity and relief for the chaser, it can also tempt them to try to convince the runner of their twin flame connection using this information. But this approach is just another form of control, and it only adds more fear into their shared energy, pushing the runner even further away. If the chaser can understand this information and their twin flame connection without trying to force it onto the runner will eventually stop running. In this scenario, the chaser or divine feminine will be prepared to reunite and stay with their twin flame because they understand what's happening. The key is that the chaser needs to keep their knowledge about twin flames to themselves and let the universe take its course. The first thing that needs to happen for twin flames to reunite is for the chaser to stop chasing. It's not just about not contacting the other person, but more importantly, it's about stopping the energy of chasing. The chaser needs to let go of their fear of losing the other person. The only way to do that is to accept the truth. They are already together and can't really be separated. If they are indeed twin flames, being the same soul, no argument or reasoning can get rid of this fear of loss other than facing the truth directly. This connection can't be lost or won. It's just how a soul manifests in the physical world. There's nothing that needs to be done to make it happen, and nothing that can be done to break it. It just is what it is. This is understood at the soul level. At the ego level, it can't be understood. But the mind can understand this by shifting its perspective from being ego-based to being soul-based, which is a spiritual awakening. Their soul, where they are united, is completely dedicated to them realizing this truth. Also, the false belief that they are separate is what keeps the runner running because they are essentially trying to escape from themselves, which is impossible. Once the runner senses the shift to love-based energy, they bring the cycle to a complete close. However, the runner can't stop running if the chaser keeps pushing them away with their energy, because running is a reaction to being chased and not the other way around. The energy can only be changed by the chaser, who needs to stop chasing and allow the true energy of love. Once the divine feminine shifts their energy from being ego-driven to being soul-driven, where union is understood energetically, physical union is just the next logical step. Here, there is no separation, and there is a peace that surpasses all understanding, calmness, and pure love energy. In the next part of the video, we'll provide some practical steps on how to be in this state because it can be a little tricky to navigate. The main idea is to follow your inner guidance and do some simple, beneficial practices. But the moment the chase stops, the running stops too. In that stillness, they both see the truth. They're one and the same. When there's peace, there's no runner, no chaser, just one soul in life. That's the real deal, the essence of true love. They're free to be themselves, and naturally they come together, drawn not just by their own soul's calling, but by the universe itself. And about the runner thinking about the chaser? Well, it's a yes and a no. Yes, there's always love at the soul level, a constant and unwavering bond. But in the big picture, no, because in reality, there's no runner, no chaser, just one soul, undivided and whole. The first step is to take a breather and shift your attention away from your twin flame for a bit. Believe it or not, it helps when the runner goes silent. It sort of forces you to start this process. To make this work, try to cut off all contact and get rid of anything that reminds you of them as much as you can. This part is crucial. You're detoxing, and this energy is powerful stuff. The more serious you are about the detox, the better prepared you'll be. But remember, listen to your gut and only go as far as it tells you. Keep soaking up good quality information about twin flames and also start diving into more general spiritual stuff to expand your horizons. Once you've learned enough about twin flames, you'll start to feel more at ease and less compelled to keep hunting for more info. When you get to that stage, it's time to shift gears, step away from the twin flame stuff for a bit, and focus on learning about general spiritual and self-care stuff. What this does is help your mind transition. You go from obsessing over the twin flame to learning about twin flames and spirituality, then smoothly shift to focusing on spirituality only. This helps you internalize the broader perspective of soul consciousness. Your mind gets to dump all the toxic fear-based obsession about the twin flame. It'll take some time, and it needs to be done in gradual transition stages following your feelings. Don't try to rush or force yourself through the process or to leapfrog stages. Follow your interests and inclinations, and your soul will guide you to let go of the toxic energy bit by bit. This will also lead you into a whole new way of life with signs, synchronicities, and other major revelations. Some will be pleasant, others more challenging. If the person you're dealing with really is your twin flame, check out our video on the real signs of a twin flame for more on this. They'll come back once the energy clears. More importantly, you'll feel whole and start seeing life from a whole new perspective with all the new insight and experience. Because now, you understand what's happening and are being guided by your soul and not ego. During the detox phase, as the energy gets clearer but isn't completely clear yet, it's not unusual for the runner to pop in and out of your life. But don't rush into trying to rekindle things. Be nice, but shut down any behavior that isn't healthy. Trying to force things to work at this stage will just set you back. If you find yourself back in the dark energy, just gently pull yourself out of it. When the time is right, you won't have to put any effort into making things work. This is the detox stage, the first stage. Step 2. This part is all about developing a spiritual routine and getting in touch with your deeper self or soul. It's about syncing up with this higher universal perspective by trusting your gut and your wisdom. Twin flames are connected at the soul level, and it's this connection that pulls them towards each other. They might be separate in their physical bodies and egos, but at the soul level, they're one. This unity is different from the connection you share with other souls. For other souls, the unity is at the God level, where everything is one. But with your twin flame, you're united at the mind's energetic field level and are one soul. When you connect with your soul, you turn on the magnet that pulls twin flames towards each other, first on an energetic level and then eventually, physically. Activating your soul energy can be done through various spiritual practices. The most simple and direct ways are meditation, physical exercise, and self-care. Specifically, the types of meditation that help quiet your mind, slow down, or stop your thoughts are very effective. When your mind is at peace, your soul comes forward, bringing feelings of peace and happiness, as well as insights about life. The most important thing you'll experience is a deep sense of peace and lasting joy. When all the cluttered and noisy thoughts are paused, your soul's impulses shine through. From this place, many people have touched states of enlightenment and realized deep spiritual truths. Many, including myself, have found that during these moments, your twin flame feels a strong urge, either consciously or subconsciously, to find you. But it's important to be aware of the energy when your twin flame is drawn in. Watch your own energy and let things happen naturally. There are many paths to this state, but meditation, self-care, and creating a peaceful environment around you are the simplest and most direct methods. Once your soul's vibration begins to influence your life, your twin flame is naturally drawn to you and finds their way into your life. This is simply the law of attraction at work. This is like a magnet, and it doesn't stop once your twin flame enters your life. Keeping up your soul's vibration attracts all kinds of other wonderful things, experiences, and people, including material abundance, a wider sense of freedom, and even soul family members who appear in all kinds of places. So, we've covered quite a bit today about the twin flame journey, especially the runner and chaser. It's a complex and emotional path, but understanding it can really make a difference in how you navigate it. Before we go, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing. We love hearing from you, so drop a comment below with your thoughts, stories, or any questions you have. You help make this community amazing. And for everyone on their twin flame journey, remember, trust the process and stay true to what you feel deep down. Thanks for watching. We hope this has helped you understand the twin flame journey a bit better. Keep exploring, keep loving, and we'll catch you in the next video.